You could be born blind and deaf and not even realize there's an entire world around you. And make it worse, what if you were also born with no sense of touch? There's nothing in science that says this is impossible, because in theory, a human could actually be born like this. What if you gained all those senses back? It would be extreme trauma and overload. And the first thing that comes to mind is Helen Keller. Helen was born with zero vision or sound, but still found a way to communicate. A smart teacher named Anne placed Helen's hand underwater and spelled the word water into her palm, but Helen still had touch. And without touch, could a person with no vision and sound understand language? Could he even form thoughts or become self-aware he exists? Your first thought is most likely a definite no. That's a good instinct, because what's left is only a few senses like taste, smell, and temperature. So a person like this wouldn't even be aware of other humans. It feels hopeless, but then I thought maybe there is some possible way, even with the very limited senses this person would have. And surprisingly, there might be. Let's start with something basic, like hunger, for example. When you are hungry, someone or something feeds you, and as you are fed, your hunger starts to go away, and also you can still sense taste. Now, pretty quickly, the brain will see this as a good thing. This creates a basic reward signal, and you don't need vision or touch for this, just cause and effect. Now, this is hypothetical, but what if before giving the food, someone releases a specific smell? Eventually, the brain might recognize that a specific smell that comes before food, and that right there creates a correlation to food. Now, that isn't language, but it is basic pattern recognition. What happens when you stack patterns? Now, I'm not going to get into the details of a system like this, and it's way too much for just a YouTube video, but let's just say you figured out a way to make him move. For example, maybe you can still control his body in some way, he just can't feel it. So, when he does a specific movement, he gets food. Eventually, you can keep stacking movements and very specific patterns into reward. Now, a system like this would be incredibly slow and basically near impossible, and eventually this person would model the world with the limited senses he has, because your mind constructs a version of reality from wherever it can get. In this case, it has almost nothing, just internal changes in hunger, taste, smell, and temperature, but it might be enough to build a rough map of pattern. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting, because what if that person suddenly gained all their senses back? They wake up one day seeing colors and hearing sound, feeling their feet touch the ground and everything. Would their mind completely collapse? Now, at first, it would be incomprehensible to this person. It would be extreme sensory overload, completely random and not structured like how we sense it. It would take a few hours to even begin to understand it. There's really no way to fully understand what this would be like for him. This would be the equivalent of you being able to see in completely new colors. Actually, even more than that. Eventually, it could be possible to adapt to a normal life after this, possibly become famous for this rare case. But if this actually genuinely happened in real life, there would be significant health effects from initial trauma and overload. And this gave me another idea. What if modern humans with brain technology found a way to feel new senses? Not vision, sound, or touch, but something completely new. Something we can't even describe with human words. That'll most definitely be a separate video, and I actually have some interesting things related to that. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe and like if you want to support this video.